This is actually, we got somebody waiting. I'll go ahead and go to. Is it Rob?
Yes, it is.
How you doing, Rob?
Good, man. So I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting flipping to the channel. Found you guys. That was cool. I am a little concerned, though, about the rabbit on the cross. And here's why. Is that I fear that folks who might be on the edge or might be perhaps open to the discussion might be so at their core offended at the rabbit on the cross that they may not choose to listen. And, you know, it took me many years. I, too, came from Southern Baptist background, and I finally came to conclusions that you've come to. But, you know, earlier on in the middle of that discovery, if I would have seen that, I might have been somewhat bothered by that.
See, I've actually been waiting for a Christian to call in to tell me that they're offended by this. And the whole reason that I've been waiting for them, why? Because the rabbit technically has nothing at all to do with their religion. And Jesus wasn't the only person crucified, and I haven't actually driven nails. This thing is a parody of a symbol, and the only reason that it caused them offense is because they're reading into this more than what exists. So yes, it was. It might end up being a negative influence on somebody. It might end up being a positive influence on others. One Easter show out of, what have I done now? Three or four.
Yeah, we do them every year.
To have a bit of fun with it. Yeah, I understand your point, and I'm not saying you're wrong. It's something I considered, but it's a chance I'm willing to take this year.
Well, it's certainly good in that it caught my attention. So maybe if they're flipping the channels and someone sees the bunny on the cross, they'll go, what the heck is that all about? And stop and listen to you guys. And maybe they'll think a little bit more about some of these questions, the good questions that you brought forth. And
yeah, I don't consider this to remotely be a good
it's not a good
intellectual discussion point. It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah. I have a couple comments based on what you said. One is, I think that using a torture device as a symbol of your religion is kind of creepy. So I'm actually a little offended by that. But no one's asked me.
Wouldn't that be more? Well, I mean, you have the issue then Catholicism of having him on the cross, and then other religions not. That opens up another discussion.
And a deeper point is, if you happen to catch the beginning of the show, I actually, hit Christianity about 25 different ways, and in effect, I think I did a lot more damage with my little spiel, if people listen to it, than this silly little thing. So, if anything, people should probably be offended by more of what I said than our little eye-catching thing. But
plus, when I got the idea, I ran out and I picked up all this stuff and spent an hour putting it all together. And there's no way I'm going to run out late Saturday night and do all this work and not actually have it up here today. But the other thing,
and the video doesn't reflect. But what is written above the?
It says irony.
Irony, actually, yeah.
It's hard. There, you can kind of see it. Well, that's a good trick, Matt. How do you make it show up?
It's the close-up camera.
Oh, okay.
It's got a different focal length.
Oh,
so it's not as washed out.
I thought it was magic. Okay.
But yeah, the other point, of course, is related to one of the bumper stickers on my car, which is blasphemy is victimless crime. I don't know that, and I realize that we're from different backgrounds, or similar backgrounds, and I agree with your point. I mean, this could be something that ends up damaging the case, and it's a point worth considering. But I'm not sure that even when I was a Christian, I would have been offended by this. It would have been more of they're just not taking our religious holiday seriously. I didn't ever run into a whole lot of people who were deeply offended, or would have been offended by things like this. But I guess it varies.
Yeah. So you've raised a good point, and we'd love to hear from other Christians what you think about some of the things we've said, or even this little bunny thing.
Yeah, there's like 30 minutes left in the show. If there are 3 Christians that call in and tell me they're offended by this, I'll take it down.
Now, there's a challenge for you guys.
Very good. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Take care. Is this a good time to maybe talk about, what your plans are for the bunny, for later today and future shows?
After I'm sure it's dead, I'm going to take it down from here and put it in a box.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to bring this box back next week, right?
Well, we're going to, Yeah, we're going to put it in a box and check the box next week to make sure the bunny's still there. If it's not there, then I'm going to use that as proof that this bunny has been resurrected.
And it's therefore
Because
supernatural, right?
Among even some of the more famous apologists like Josh McDowell, the empty tomb alone is proof of resurrection. And so if the shoebox is empty next week, clearly we'll have proof of a resurrection. I know the bunny's got Jesus on his side. It even says it like right on his thing. It says, Jesus loves me on it.
Jesus loves me. Yeah.
And, you know, he not only brought himself back, he brought Lazarus back. And if you read some of those other accounts, you know, during this whole death and resurrection thing, there were people getting up out of their graves, saints running around all over town. It's curious that nobody else reported any of this. That there's not, you know,
must have been just commonplace. Yeah.
Some you know, historian of the time who was taking notes on everything that was going on failed to notice that on this particular day, massive this huge zombie attack. It didn't make the papers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe by then they figured out to get him in the head is this.
They were all stuffed from Passover feast and just were sitting on their ass in the house, and they didn't see the zombies. But where did the zombies go? When they were done roaming around, did they go back to their graves?
Crawl back
and
in
then
their graves?
cover themselves up with dirt? or did they ascend too? And does their ascension kind of take away from Jesus' ascension, since he's supposed to be the only... These are real questions.
Sounds like a really bad horror movie to me.
Yeah, you know, I'm having a bit of fun, but for the people who are claiming that this book is a reliable testimony of real events, please give me an explanation for this stuff. You know, maybe that's the reason we have zombie movies now. Maybe this has entered the popular culture. It just never got written down properly. But anyway, we got